Hello y'all, it's DiggleGuyver again. I'm back today with something a little new, something I like to call my thoughts on. My thoughts on today are going to be about the new game that came out recently, Death Stranding. First, if you haven't finished this game yet, or you plan to get it later, don't watch this video. That's right, I said it, don't watch this video. Put it on your watch later playlist and then come back to it after you've finished it. It goes without saying that this is going to be very spoiler heavy. Very spoiler heavy. However, that's not the main reason I say watch it later. I say that because I truly believe that if you are planning to play this game, or playing it currently, don't spoil it for yourself. Experience it first and then come back. Anyway, one last time for those that are hard of hearing or those that are in the back. Very spoiler heavy. Alright. What can I say about Death Stranding? It's the latest creation from the mad genius that is Hideo Kojima. You can see his hands, pun intended, all over this world. Hell, you can even summon him into the world if you know the secret on how to do it. First off, I'm going to admit that I have not read every single email, every single interview, or every scrap of data that's within the world of Death Stranding. This is just everything I've been able to piece together through multiple sources and multiple playthroughs. So, first off, a bit of backstory for Death Stranding before we start. The game is set in a post, or currently going on, apocalyptic event. When a person dies, their body goes through necrosis. Normally, this would mean that they just start to decompose. However, in this world, when a body goes through necrosis, the body starts to ooze an oil or tar-like substance. Once it's done, beached things, dead things, rise from the ground. They attack any living person they find. If this were to happen near a populated area, the BTs could end up devouring a living being. If they do, a huge explosion called a void out occurs. This has happened all over the world, multiple times. To avoid this, corpses are now cremated as soon as possible and as far away from human settlements as they can. While this still isn't a great thing, and we'll get to that in a little bit, it's still better than a void out explosion. Most of the population now lives underground in settlements or shelters and hardly ever come out, hoping to avoid the wandering BTs and the otherworldly rain known as Timefall. This is where porters or delivery companies come in. They brave the outside world to help keep humanity alive. Yes, you heard it right. Amazon Prime delivery people are now the brave rock stars of this new scary world. So now that we know a little bit about this world, let's break down what the heck is going on in it. First, let's start with the white whale of this story, Amelie, or more specifically, the beach. So once again, this is the final warning. There be spoilers here. First off, Amelie isn't real. As you later find out at the end of the game, her name is made up of two words, Ame, which is French for soul, and lie, which is lie. Her name basically means false soul or fake soul. I would also like to point out that the word Ame in Japanese means rain, which is another big part within the game, but don't worry, we'll get to that in a little bit. Anyway, Amelie is just one piece of another being. And no, I don't mean Bridget. Bridget is just the second part of that same being. That being is, of course, the beach itself. There are actually three parts of the beach: Amelie, Bridget, and the third, known as EE, or Extinction Entity. EE is the part of the beach that wants to bring about what is known within the game as the sixth extinction event. Yes, this does mean that in the Earth's past there was 5 other extinction events. However, this sixth event is said to be the last one, the one that will wipe out all life on the planet. Now, you could say that EE is the main part, but that's not completely true. What we are seeing is the game's version of the triple goddess: Maiden, Mother, Crone, or Heaven, Earth, and Underworld. It's seen a lot within many different forms of media. Either way, all 3 are just one part of the greater whole that is the beach itself. You can tell which one you're interacting with by the dresses they are wearing. Red for Amelie, the maiden in heaven, white for Bridget, the mother on earth, and black for EE, the crone of the underworld. With their powers combined, they are the beach. The beach itself can be seen as a couple different things. One of them being Limbo, the place between heaven and hell, or heaven and the underworld. This one feels right to me, because when you visit Amelie on her beach, which is basically just the hub beach for everyone, you will notice all these dead animals, these dead, mostly sea creatures, all along her beach. These are most likely all the extinct animals that are on this world already, or just some of the beach's minions that she can send after you. Also, you will notice that there is a large ocean that is connected to the beach. This could also be a reference to the river Styx, the river that separates the land of the living from the land of the dead. I see this one as well. There are a couple of clues to this. One being what happens to Sam in his past when he was a baby. Later in the game, you will find out that Sam was the BB you've been seeing POV memory flashes from, not the BB that you are now carrying. In Sam's past, he and his father both got shot and died, thanks no less to Bridget herself, the representation of motherhood, killing a child. And yeah, she does not take it too well. However, Sam gets revived on his beach by Amelie, and then placed into the waters, and this is the first time he respawns back into his body. This mirrors one of the many legends for the river Styx. If a living person is dipped into the river, they will receive the gift of immortality. Hell, even Void Outs can't kill our man Sam now. The only time he can die is when he's physically on the beach himself, and not on Earth. Or to be more specific, not within the ocean that is connected to the beach. Normally when you die, you'll find yourself in that ocean. You'll have to then swim back into your body to be revived. While you're swimming, you will also notice other souls around you. These are most likely going to be other players that have died in the same area as you, or dropped packages, lost packages, get it? Like lost souls. And you will also see BTs off in the distance. If he's physically on the beach, though, he can't respawn. This brings us to the next thing, or should I say things. Beached things, that is. Black gold, Texas tea. There is going to be some speculation with these, but this is from what I've been able to figure out throughout the game. BTs are basically just lost souls. Souls that are tethered to the living world. The game likes to use the term antimatter, but the way I look at it, they are more anti-life than antimatter. If they were antimatter, the world itself would have already been rubble by this point. Anyway, these souls are unable to pass on. Most likely because of EE, as she's trying to hasten the sixth extinction event. And because of how close the beach is to the living world now, the BTs themselves are able to interact with it. If they sense you, they will grab you, try to pull you down, to weaken you, and then if they can, consume you. This is where the whole anti-life thing comes from, for me. Once they eat you, boom. Either way, they are compelled to do this by EE, by the beach. It becomes clearer later on when you gain the ability to actually cut the cord that is attached to the BTs. When you do this, you receive a like from that BT. Why do they do this, you wonder? You're getting that like because you are literally freeing them and allowing them to finally pass on. BTs are not monsters. They are just beings being used by the beach to cause the sixth event. Also, you will notice that all of them are floating. Now, yes, you could just say that that's because they're ghosts and ghosts float.
You float too!
However, that's not the only reason. All BTs are floating because, like we just mentioned a couple minutes ago, they are all floating within the ocean that is connected to the beach. They are floating just like you do when you die, but they don't have a body to go back to, so they're stuck. This just shows how close the living world is to the beach. This also shows how close the world itself is to the sixth extinction event. And with that, we come to the other key thing within this world, the Timefall. I have a couple of theories for it, but I first want to point out something that was bugging me for a while. Why isn't every drop of water on the planet now dangerous to every living being on the planet? That's because once a drop of Timefall rain hits something, it turns back into harmless water. However, the thing that it hits ages a little bit, and over time, gets destroyed or dies. Anyway, I have two theories for the Timefall. The first is that all of the rain passes through the particles from the cremated dead and the chiral crystal particles that are within the air. However, while this does make a certain kind of sense scientifically, wouldn't the rain still be hazardous? All of those particles are still within the rain. Yes, you could say that those particles become inert once they hit something, but they are still there. It just doesn't feel completely right. Not when you also take into account how closely connected the living world is to the beach. Once again, the living world is covered by the ocean that the beach is connected to. The ocean that is full of the dead. This is when rain falls, it passes through all the chiral crystal particles, all the particles from the cremated dead, and the ocean that the beach is connected to. This also can explain why we see the upside down rainbow. We're seeing the rainbow reflected from under the water. So, once the rain hits something, it decays a little bit, be it a car, a package, or a person carrying a nuclear football in her underwear. Now that that negative charge on the rain has been dissipated, back to being just normal, if maybe slightly disgusting water. Anyway, I'm going to end it here. This is my first time doing something like this, and yes, there are plenty more questions that this game brings up, but these were some of the big ones that were bouncing around in my head after the end of the game. Who or what was Amelie? What are the BTs? And why does the rain suck so much? So, do I like Death Stranding? Yes, I do. Do I think it's perfect? No. No, I don't. Would I recommend it for everyone? No. But I do think there are a lot of people out there that will enjoy it and not mind being a delivery man in the apocalypse. If y'all still have questions, we can all discuss them in the comments below. If y'all enjoyed this video, please press that like button. And like I said, leave a comment, especially if it's more questions for the game about the game. But, like I said, I'm going to end the video here. I'm going to thank y'all for watching, and I'm going to hope to see y'all again. Later, y'all!